Welcome to the regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Cottonwood, Arizona, July 21st, 2020. City Clerk, would you please take the roll?
Councilmember Henry? Here. Councilmember Halls?
Here.
Councilmember Howdigi is absent. Councilmember Naren? Councilmember Naren?
Here.
Councilmember Weldon?
Here.
Mayor Linsky?
Here.
Vice Mayor Matthews?
Here. Would you all join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are there any council members that have any updates or events?
Nope.
Do not? No. Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Couple today. So the Cottonwood Public Library has collaborated with the Camp Verde Public Library and the Verde Drive-In Show for 2 free movies for the summer reading program participants this Thursday evening. They put an ad out on Facebook, so if kids participated, they got two free tickets to the movies. Pretty exciting. Thank you to the library and the volunteers out there. And then the Cottonwood Recreation Center is collaborating with the Cottonwood Public Library and the Cottonwood Oak Creek School District to do some story walks around the walking tracks at both Cottonwood Community School and Dr. Daniel Bright School. They'll have those up this week for people to use to encourage healthy and educational exercise for individuals and young children. Based on usage, they hope to increase these offerings to the walking track behind the library as well as the one at the hospital. And then our Law Enforcement Heroes, a 501c3 associated with our Cottonwood Police Department, donated $1,000 to a law enforcement memorial dedicated to all YAVAPAI County officers killed in the line of duty. The donation drive has been active for less than 90 days, and the generous law enforcement supporters and donors have already contributed $70,000 of the $80,000 cost. The statue will reside in the courthouse square in Prescott. Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor.
Okay. So we have a presentation this evening, and I'd like to welcome YAVAPAI College Vice President Rodney Jenkins and Richard Hernandez, who is the Regional Economic Development Center Director, and they will give us a presentation tonight on the future of YAVAPAI College.
Mr. Vice Mayor, Council, I missed you guys. Thank you so much for inviting me up. Mr. Jenkins expressed his regrets for not being able to attend. He's dealing with the crisis. So I'll do my best to represent. And if you have any questions, just stop me along the line. I'm going to present to you today a recap of what YAVAPAI College has been up to, what we see as a vision for our future. It is by no means a complete recap of all the activity at the college, but we picked out a couple of highlights that I think would interest the community and interest the council. So let me start with strengthen our pedagogy, which I didn't write this, but strengthen our ability to deliver content is what it really, what it is. We are actively expanding our construction sciences program to include, as I'm sure you've heard, a 3D housing project, which I'm going to talk about towards the end in a little more detail, so I'll just mention it here. And then you all know we have a very successful enology winery program at the college. We're in talks now to expand that to fermentation or craft beer, which it looks like it's going to happen, and it'll probably be on this side of the mountain, the initial programs. And then we are actively looking at distilleries, also distilling programs, but that requires a different kind of a license in relationship with the state, which we haven't quite worked out just yet. What I really want to talk to you about is how our students are affected by some of the things that we're doing. Open Education Resources, or ORE, the Promise program, which we started last year, which allows our high school graduates to attain a 2-year college degree at no cost to them or their families. a simple cost calculator that's on our website, which I'll take you through just briefly, and providing opportunities for the 10 community colleges in the state of Arizona to provide 4-year degrees, or 2-year colleges to become 4-year degreed colleges. So, OER, Open Education Resources. You know, I speak from experience. My oldest is out in the workforce now, out of college, but my middle and my youngest are in college right now. So this hits home for me as much as I'm sure it does for a lot of families. Open Education Resources simply are resources that students can have access to for free. So no more $400 textbooks in physics, you know, no more $100 psychology books that are out of date after a year or two and have to be re-upped with a new edition. Open Education Resources are not just books, but materials, labs, everything a student needs to go to college. YAVAPAI College is actively pursuing an opportunity for our students, your students, to attend college without that additional expense. And on the next slide or two, well, let me see, you'll see how just hugely expensive it is. And I'm almost embarrassed to put this slide up, but I didn't grow up in education, but I'm deeply in it now, and my kids are at college experiencing this. If you look at the Consumer Price Index, about 250% increase. But look what textbooks cost. Like I said, I'm almost embarrassed to show you this slide. 812% increase just for books to go to school. That's almost sinful. So the college, under the leadership of Dr. Ryan, is actively pursuing an opportunity for our students to go to school for as close to zero expense as possible. So OER is one of the costs, and you'll see on this next slide, $2,300 to go to school at YAVAPAI College. But on top of that, $1,600 to buy books to go to school at YAVAPAI College. Again, it's disheartening to me, and I'm sure it is to many of the families in our communities and our students. So we're actively producing that. We're real close to making it happen, and it'll come up in stages. It'll be by department. One college will be free, and then we'll chop away at it as we go forward. The cost comparison tool, or this cost calculator, I know it's difficult to see because the spreadsheet's real small, but essentially you got NAU on the extreme left, U of A, ASU, and then YAVAPAI is on the right on that green shaded area. And I'll just read the bottom line to you. NAU, 15,000, U of A, 16,000, ASU, 15,000, and YAVAPAI, 6,000. So the cost to go to YAVAPAI College versus a 4-year college for your first 2 years, which are the same courses anyway, is substantially different. What we've done is put this calculator up on the website, and the student or family can sit down at the dinner table, click in some basic things like, are you going to live on campus or you're not, what's your SAT scores, et cetera, move those sliders back and forth, and get a real cost of what it would cost the family to go to YAVAPAI versus what it would cost them to go to one of the 4-year institutions in the state. And it is significant, a significant savings. This is out of order, I'm sorry, but the textbook slide, this just is a slide that shows how many students have to make hard choices, whether to buy textbooks or put food on the table, whether to buy textbooks or to not take a course, or maybe not sign up for a course because they might have enough money for the course, but not enough money for the course and the books. And it is staggering what our kids have to come up with just to go to school and have the resources to attend the class. Another initiative of the college is SEM, Strategic Enrollment Management. We're looking hard at the demographics of YAVAPAI County, who can benefit from a college education, some college or certificate, or maybe even non-credit. And what we've discovered, or what we've outlined, is a program where we identify demographics such as Hispanic Initiative, We want to look at those that we call have gone to school, but for whatever reason they dropped out and went to work to support a family, and they never finished those last few classes. We want to try to help remove the barriers that might be in front of students attaining a degree or certificate or finishing school, and then develop a robust management plan to orchestrate those barriers or those goals that help our students finish. So, you may know the statistic. I know I've pounded it for the years that I've been here. If you look at the demographics of YAVAPAI County, the median age, 57 years old. That's the median in YAVAPAI County. But if you just segregate the Hispanic community, the median age drops to 28 years old. So when we're looking at workforce for our businesses, for construction, for whatever, the younger generations, at least today, appear to be in that Hispanic community. So we're looking at ways that we can help them get to school, get educated, get a certificate, and get out in the workforce and help our businesses who struggle for employees every single day. Doesn't mean we're going to leave anybody behind. It just identifies that there is a large pool of young kids in that demographic. The some college, no degree, that was the reference I made to folks who dropped out for whatever reason, and there's lots of legitimate reasons why folks don't finish school or finish the last year of college or whatever. They're real, life happens. There's real reasons, but there's 75,000 or more working age adults in YAVAPAI County that fall in that category of not finishing what they started. So we have an active program, one, locating those folks, and two, at least presenting opportunities for them to finish that last 100 yards. They might have 90% of the credits they need, and they just need that last little push. But like I said, life happens, and they have children and families and things to worry about, and they just can't get back to it. We're even talking about delivering college courses in a different time frame, not 8 to 5, so to speak, and not Monday through Friday. We want to be able to make college accessible to everybody in the community that can take advantage of it. The SAM that I talked about, just removing barriers. I won't spend a lot of time on this, but we want to bring a student into the college, assign them an admissions advisor, a financial aid advisor, get them somebody that they can relate with and develop a friendship with at the college, and those advisors, if you will help them. We even have a food pantry on both campuses where if the kids get in trouble and need a little bit of canned goods in their cupboards, they can come to the college and I call it raiding the pantry, but it's essentially what they do. They come to the college and fill their bag and they're good to go. So we want to eliminate the barriers that prevent the kids from finishing because life happens. I want to talk to you a little bit about 3D printing because it's all the rage, and I've been spending a lot of time on it. I've been given the task from the college to spearhead this really amazing technology. When I first took the job as the director of the REDC, we went out and met with the mayors and the managers and the council and said, what really is the best way we can help you? We heard the three things overwhelmingly. And I hear all the time that the East and the West are different, and they all do. And maybe they are, but there's three things that we heard on both sides of the mountain. Didn't change whether you were on the East or the West. It was the same three things: workforce, housing, transportation. Workforce, housing, transportation. We heard it loud and clear from everybody, so we started to chop away at it. Transportation, we started on the west side, and we're working towards getting some kind of transport system in there with SIMPO and some other folks there. Workforce, we're constantly working on workforce. The REDC at the college, that's their role to support the community in workforce and economic development. But I wanted to point out the housing challenge for us. We started talking with a company by the name of Icon. They are a Austin, Texas-based company, and we started talking with them about 2 years ago. But Icon didn't really want to have a commercial presence in the United States. The technology was new, it was young, and Icon was an upstart young company full of young people that had a vision to save the world, if you will, and they were very focused on philanthropic efforts in third world countries. So Icon, those young kids, they pioneered some of this technology I'm going to show you, but they pioneered it in a much needed area, third world countries where there's people that don't even have a sheet over their heads, so to speak. So, but since then, Icon has come back to the United States. They've built a community just across the border in Mexico, and they just acquired the first permitted build in Austin, Texas. So they'll build the first 3D printed house that gets through the permitting and approval process in a community in Austin, a single dwelling. So while we were talking with Icon and trying to make things happen for our communities, for YAVAPAI County, we bumped into a company just right up the street here in Utah, Ogden, Utah, by the name of Mudbots. And Mudbots was a young company, upstart also, but they were a commercial venture. So the college began to work with Mudbots to bring 3D printing to YAVAPAI County. We're in the process of developing the curriculum. It's slated for, does it say on there? No, it doesn't, but it's slated for the spring of 2021. And I had a little video here. I don't know how much time I actually have, but can I... Is there a way for me to click that video, or Mary, can you click that video? Maybe not. I don't know. I don't have a cursor. Okay.
Could you send the link and then?
It's on the screen. Do you have these slides on your screen? No. Okay, that's all right. So the video that is a video of Icon printing a house, and if you've ever seen a 3D printer on your desktop or in your office, whatever, it's just a hot glue gun, if you will, that they run a piece of plastic into, and it heats it up and it squirts it out, and it moves on an XYZ axis, and it makes things, you know, small on your desktop kind of thing. The Mudbots printers that the college acquired, there's two of them, a 12 by 12 and a much larger one that's gantry based and can be configured to different shapes. The 12 by 12 is intended to be used in the classroom to teach the kids how to use the machine, and the larger one, we intend to build homes with it. Now I say we, the college is not in the business of building homes, and we don't want to be in the business of building homes. What we want to do is educate your kids, my kids, the community, how to use these things, how to work with developers and contractors that might acquire their own machine and build homes. So I want to make sure that we don't get confused here. I don't want to be on the job site building houses, but we will build a prototype. We will build a proof of concept. We haven't decided where yet, but we will, and have a marketing press release, invite the public, invite the communities to come see this house. And these houses can be built, 2,000 square foot home, half the cost of a traditional build, and absolutely in less time. If the C of O or the permitting and those kind of things weren't a process, you could spit these houses out in a day. It is amazing to watch these things do it. The technology of the gantry system, moving a nozzle, XYZ, and that kind of thing, that's pretty basic, pretty simple. Where the talent comes from and where the research is in what they call the lavacrete, the mud, the concrete, or the polymer. That takes a real skill, and the computer that runs the machine is constantly adjusting that mix. As the humidity changes in the environment, the mix has to change. As the temperature starts to go up, the mix has to change. And that's as it's coming through the nozzle, through the pipe, and coming out. So it's quite a skill for someone to be able to print a 3D house through the program that does it. So we are real excited about this. We can't wait to show you what we're doing with it. And the first house that we build will, I'm sure, will get national attention. Moving on, the Regional Economic Development Center, which we have right now, we've had in YAVAPAI College since 2012. But the Regional Economic Development Center is actively pursuing an expansion, if you will, an REDC on steroids. We are attempting to build or find resources to build a 30,000 square foot facility. We've entered into a partnership with Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. Embry-Riddle will partner with us on this venture to bring what they call the Center for the Future, which is a technology-based incubation or accelerator that will live inside the REDC. We right now today have a cyber warfare range in partnership with Embry-Riddle that's on the Prescott campus. We haven't announced it, haven't opened it yet because of COVID, and we really can't use it until the COVID situation relaxes a little bit. But it'll be a place where our high school students can go and actually, in a secluded private network, actually do battle. They can hack each other, they can hack other sites like Mesa Community College, or Washington, D.C. has capture the flag contest and stuff. It'll be a real opportunity for our kids to get an education in a field that right now today has 1 million jobs available that they cannot fill. Cybersecurity is the fastest growing technology in the country. If we had students that could get through the court and be done, they'd have jobs, 6-figure jobs overnight. So we're actively pursuing that. The REDC wants to be a one-stop shop where we can give entrepreneurs an opportunity, existing businesses assistance, financial and business guidelines, much like we do today, but as I've stated, on steroids. So more of the REDC. You know, virtual offices kind of thing, meeting spaces that the businesses can use, education facilities. We're in negotiations with large corporations like American Express and Boeing to have a presence in the facility. The one thing that I want to close about the REDC is it will not be on one of our college campuses. It will be in the community somewhere. We haven't decided yet. And it will be funded by federal, state, and local grants, not the traditional college budget. So we are actively pursuing funding for the REDC, outside funding, not Yavapai County kind of tax funding. And we think it's going to be an amazing asset to the community, and our businesses and our economic development folks in the communities can take immediate access of it. So I think that is my last slide. I'd be glad to answer any questions you might have, or if there's something I didn't present that you've heard, I can address that also.
Anybody have any questions or comments?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there a fee for some of the services that are provided by the students? And number one. Number two, will they be paying a fee to use this facility?
To use which facility, the REDC or the cyber warfare range?
Cyber warfare.
So the part, they will not be paying a fee. There is a discussion going on now how we get the high school students to come to the college and participate. What happened before? So Embry-Riddle used to have this in place, and for reasons only Embry-Riddle know, it didn't survive. So between the two of us, we're going to resurrect it and bring it live. But anybody can go on a Saturday to the warfare range and start to play war games and take advantage of the professors. So no fee.
Thank you.
Yep, go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, thank you. Richard, can you give us an update on, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, but we haven't talked in a while, on the CETC on this side of the hill, or did you guys find a location, or you?
Absolutely. You didn't put me on the spot because I thought it would come up. I did talk to leadership before I came over, and the topic of my request was to get as much information as I could to share with you what we call Building L and the Skilled Trade Center, which the college is still 100% committed to make happen on the east side. So where we are with that is, let's talk about Building L first, since it's Building L is done. I think once like I said, the COVID restrictions are released, you'll be able to go over there and see it. It's gorgeous. I mean, it's amazing. The upper level is all allied health, the nursing and those kind of programs, which we took out of the Verde Valley a while back over to Prescott Valley, and we're bringing back to the Verde the allied health portion. So once we get it open and permission to bring people over there, I'm glad to invite you to see it. It is impressive. And the bottom half is the manufacturing and the other things that we talked about and identified. So that's done. The Skilled Trade Center. As you may or may not know, we had a almost ink-dried deal with, I'll leave their name out of it, but over on Corey, right? We had a facility on 260 that we were prepared to move into and do what we had to do. The developer, the owner, got a full-faced offer for a purchase of the building, so he pulled it away from the opportunity, and we couldn't move forward with that. But we're actively looking for another piece of property on 260. Dr. Clint Ewell, who's our CFO, talked to me before I came over and said that we should have an answer to you by the end of August as to whether we're going to build on 260 or whether we're going to lease or find a property on 260 to put the Skilled Trade Center in. I'm also supposed to let you know that we're trying to coordinate everybody's calendars where we can get the mayors and city managers together again like we did before we launched this thing in August, so we can give you an update and some more data. So I don't know if that...
Well, your YAVAPAI College and your programs are certainly a driving force and a key component to the economic future of our citizens and our community. We really appreciate it.
Thanks.
It's great. It's exciting. Thank you.
I miss you guys.
Thank you.
Take care.
Okay, we will move on to the approval of the minutes for the work session of May 21st and the special meeting of June 19th and the special meeting of June 9th and the special meeting of June 19th for 2020. Does anybody have any comments or changes about the minutes?
Do not.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and move to approve the minutes of the work session of May 21st, 2020, the special meeting of June 9th, 2020, and the special meeting of June 19th, 2020.
Second.
Councilmember Henry motioned and Debbie Weldon, Councilmember Weldon approved. Seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Now, if there's anybody in the audience that wishes to speak on any of the agenda items tonight, if you could get a yellow slip down there and fill that out and bring it up to the front here, we would appreciate that. And we'll move on to unfinished business, and we'll move to ordinance number 680, an ordinance relating to tiny houses. It's the second and final reading. Is that Mr. Ellis?
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor, Council. Good evening. Ordinance number 680, the ordinance regarding tiny houses, second final reading. As you saw the first time, we brought it to Council more than once for input, took it to our Planning and Zoning Commission, who then gave us input as well, recommended approval to the Council, and can answer any questions you have.
Have there been any comments from the public or any concerns raised?
I have not received anything, no.
Okay. Anybody from the public have any comments on this? Okay. You did a good job in bringing it together and presenting it. So we'll accept a motion on this.
I move to approve or adopt ordinance number 680.
I'll second that. So Councilmember Henry made the motion. Vice Mayor seconded the motion. City Clerk, can take a roll call vote.
Councilmember Henry?
Yes.
Councilmember Halls?
Yes.
Councilmember Naren?
Yes.
Councilmember Wilden?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Matthews?
Yes.
Mayor Linsky? Mayor Linsky?
We may have lost him.
Mayor, can you hear us on the phone? We might have
Should we
lost
move
it.
on? So the motion passes. Ask the city clerk to read ordinance number 680 by title only.
Ordinance number 680, an ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of Cottonwood, Arizona, relating to tiny houses. Mr. Vice Mayor.
Thank you. Next up is ordinance number 681, amending the zoning ordinance by amending section 408, the outdoor lighting, by deleting sections G10 and G18, note 2, in their entirety, and adding new sections G10 and G18, note 2. And this is the second and final reading. Mr. Ellis.
Yes, thank you again, Mr. Vice Mayor, Council. Ordinance number 681, just another text amendment to our lighting code. We found after the most recent amendment that we did that some of the contractors were having trouble meeting the minimum requirement for outdoor lighting, and it was creating safety issues. As you know, we are designated a dark sky community, so we did the research, and these changes will accommodate these developers, let them get the lighting that they need to remain secure, and will not affect our designation. And I have not received any comments or anything from the public, just a kind of hurry up, and we hope it passes from the contractors.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any questions from council?
Nope.
No, he read my mind.
Okay. Anybody from the public? Any questions or comments? And we'll close the floor on that. So we'll entertain a motion on that one.
I move to make a motion. I move to adopt ordinance number 681.
Second.
Okay, Councilmember Hulse made the motion. Councilmember Wilden seconded. And City Clerk, take a roll call vote.
Councilmember Henry?
Yes.
Councilmember Halls?
Yes.
Councilmember Naren?
Yes.
Councilmember Wilden?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Matthews?
Yes.
Mayor Linsky?
Yes.
There he is.
Just for the record, I'm a yes on ordinance number 680. I'm sorry, we're going through some technological challenges.
Okay, so it passes unanimously, and we'll ask the city clerk to read ordinance number 681 by title only.
Ordinance number 681, amending the zoning ordinance by amending section 408, outdoor lighting, by deleting section G10 and G18, note 2, in their entirety, and adding new sections G10 and G18, note 2. Mr. Vice Mayor.
Thank you. We'll move to the consent agenda. The following items are considered to be routine and non-controversial by the council and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member or a citizen so requests, in which case the agenda item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. First one is resolution number 3063, approving an intergovernmental agreement with the Mingus Union High School District number 4 for the services of school resource officer to be provided by the Cottonwood Police Department. Second is a Series 7 liquor license application submitted by Camilla Alarcon, agent for Coyote Springs Golf Course located at 1480 West Annas Avenue. And the third one is resolution number 3064, appointing a member to the Planning and Zoning Commission. Is there any council members that would like an item pulled? Any members of the public would like an item pulled for discussion? Okay, so we will take them.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, Councilmember Wilden made the motion. Councilmember Hulse made the second. And all those in favor? Aye. Passes unanimously. And I'll ask the city clerk to read resolutions numbers 3063 and 3064 by title only.
Resolution number 3063, a resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of Cottonwood, Arizona, approving an intergovernmental agreement with the Mingus Union High School District number 4 for the services of a school resource officer to be provided by the Cottonwood Police Department. Resolution number 3064, a resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of Cottonwood, YAVAPAI County, Arizona, appointing Rand Richter, a member of the Planning and Zoning Commission, and establishing his term of office. Mr. Vice Mayor.
Thank you. So we'll move on to new business. The first order of business is a request to amend the final plat for the Ridgecrest subdivision in order to split Lot 8 into 2 separate lots. Mr. Ellis again.
Thank you again, Mr. Vice Mayor, Council. I apologize I didn't introduce myself the last time. Scott Ellis, Community Development Director. What we have here is a request to amend the final plat for the Ridgecrest subdivision. In 2019, May of 2019, the council did approve the final plat at that time for an 11-lot subdivision. It's just south of 89A in between 12th Street and 16th Street. Everything in there is private streets. The applicant developer approached us a couple months ago wanting to split one lot. The regulations require him to come in and do an amended final plat. So that's what we're here for tonight. So apologize, the pointer doesn't work, but lot 8 as it sits right now is going to be split and it's going to create the 12th lot. So it's not quite in half. There's just a little bit more on one side than the other. This doesn't change anything. It doesn't change the number of buildings that they're doing, number of units, number of residential units stays the same. It just splits that lot. They continue to meet all required setbacks. There's no issues there. So it's more of a technicality than anything. The applicant did come to us that it was for financial reasons on his end, but we don't see any issues with it on ours. Any questions?
What we're seeing on our screen is the lot already split, correct?
Right. So what you'll see, what you should have in front of you is the line showing lots 8 and 12. That's what the final plat will look like if approved. What it looked like over there on the left with number 8 is what it looked like prior, and what it looks like today with the recorded final plat.
Any other questions?
I don't have questions, just a comment. This seems like an easy thing for council to be able to do to help encourage this development to get moving a little bit, efficiently or get on track. So, no questions, but again, if staff doesn't have any concern, I'm on board with it.
Anybody from the public with questions or comments on this agenda item? Okay. Entertain a motion.
I'll go ahead and move to approve the proposed amended final plat for the Ridgecrest subdivision.
Second.
Okay, so Councilmember Henry made the motion. Councilmember Wilden seconded the motion. And City Clerk, would you take a roll call?
Councilmember Henry?
Yes.
Councilmember Halls?
Yes.
Councilmember Naren?
Yeah.
Councilmember Wilden?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Matthews?
Yes.
Mayor Alinsky?
Yes.
And that is also unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you. So the second item, which was going to be interview of applicants for the Historic Preservation Commission, has been pulled from the agenda. We'll move on to item 3, interview of applicants for the Airport Commission. And Amanda Wilbur, would you please come up and work us through the process?
Good evening, Vice Mayor and Council. Amanda Wilbur, HR Director. The city currently has 2 available seats on its Airport Commission due to 2 expiring terms. The openings were advertised and resulted in 8 applications received. The applications were reviewed through the blind review process, and now the applicants need to be interviewed to complete that process. Tonight, 5 of the 8 applicants are able to be here to be interviewed, and the remaining 3 are scheduled for the August 4th council meeting. When looking at these 2 seats, one must be filled by someone who is either a lessee or a tenant of the Cottonwood Airport or have working knowledge of aviation matters. This seat doesn't need to be filled by a resident of Cottonwood. The other seat does not need to be a tenant or have aviation knowledge, but must be a resident of Cottonwood and represent its citizens. After all the interviews have been held, the council's interview scores will be added to the blind review scores that we have, and the top scoring applicants will be brought back to council and be recommended for appointment to the commission. So you should have your interview questions with you, and our 5 applicants should be ready to go.
Thank you. And I believe we have more applicants for this same item at the next meeting?
Yes. So 5 at this meeting and 3 at the next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So we'll go ahead and interview the applicants. First one up is Edna Aherns.
That's me.
Good evening. Thank you. It's great to see so many people wanting to get on one of our commissions and boards. So I'll go ahead and ask the questions. We're going to ask you 3 questions. Just answer them as best you can. And I'll start off with, could you please tell us why you wish to serve on this board or commission?
I moved to Cottonwood in '06, and I love this town, and I want to be a part of making responsible decisions for it, and that includes the airport.
Okay. What are your specific qualifications for this commission?
Well, I'm not a pilot, but I love to fly. Just don't get to do that now.
Great.
I just think that the airport is such a vital part of our community and has such a history that I would like to see it taken care of appropriately. Is that
great.
a good way to put it?
Sounds great. So what do you hope to accomplish during your appointment?
What do I wish? Well, I hope that we can get more information out to the community as to how the airport operates. I don't think many people know anything about the history of even our town, as well as what the airport has played in the history of our country. And I would like to see that preserved.
That's great. Do you have any questions for us?
No, just that I'm willing and able and want to serve.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. We
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it.
Thank you.
Next up is James DiRienzo. Good evening.
Good evening.
So please tell us why you wish to serve on this commission.
I have been on many aviation commissions in both Connecticut, the NBAA, HAI. I've been flying since 1963, so I'm fairly old. And I think that previous experience will be needed going into this particular environment because the aviation environment today is the worst since Kitty Hawk and having those 2 individuals fly.
So what are your specific qualifications for this commission?
I've been a military pilot, corporate director of operations. I'm currently teaching at Embry-Riddle, aviation subcourses. I've been on the NBAA, HAI commissions. I've taught at some of the conferences. And I think I can bring some experience to the airport.
Thank you. What do you hope to accomplish during your appointment if you are appointed?
You're asking a question that's very difficult to answer because the aviation industry has taken a hit with this coronavirus. So a commission member will need to not only keep the airport going currently, but have to have a 5-year plan for growth. Trying to get airport development funds will be difficult because the federal government is now probably broke. So there's going to have to be some analysis, some feasibility studies done to get this airport in this growth mode. Maybe having an incubator where we have small companies coming in who support aviation. As Richard Hernandez said, YAVAPAI College is doing great, and we could do more for the airport. With the understanding that we have to let the population know that we're looking out for their best interests also. We're just not going to go gangbusters and make the airport humongous because we can't. And we have to understand the environment, the location, and the restrictions.
Thank you very much. Do you have any questions for any of us?
My question is, are we looking currently to expand the airport as far as the number of current hangars? Is there something in the works with, is there a grant for that currently?
Mr. Vice Mayor, council members, yes.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Bob Howard? Is Bob Howard here? Nope. Okay, we'll move on to the next. Leslie Orband? Good evening. So, Leslie, would you please tell us why you wish to serve on this commission?
I remember the first lady that was interviewed, she mentioned something about being part of the community. My husband and I moved here from the greater Seattle, Washington area about 3 years ago. I came out of the Boeing company. I worked there for 21 years. The last 8.5 years that I worked there, I had an opportunity, a great opportunity to work in the safety business, flight safety and laboratory safety. So dealing with a lot of the employees on a day-to-day basis, working with them on safety was pretty much, I guess you could compare working with the community. I'd like to serve the community and try to work with them to better understand what the airport is here for, a little bit more about the commission, and of course explain a little bit more about safety in general and what does that mean to the public.
Okay, so what are your specific qualifications for the commission?
Well, initially I had 21.5 years in the military, so I had retired. I was an intelligence officer, but I did have the opportunity to work with a lot of other folks in the aviation business. When I left the military, then I started to work for the Boeing company, and I worked on the defense side. I did a lot of proposal work. I did a lot of working with aviation as well. And then, as I mentioned earlier, my last 8.5 years with the company, I was on flight safety and laboratory safety.
Great. What do you hope to accomplish if you're appointed?
What I'd like to accomplish is to work a little closer with the community. And I think since I've been here, periodically I'll read something in the paper or I'll hear something about folks having questions about, well, why is the airport doing this? Maybe there's an opportunity for me to work a little bit one-on-one with the community. I think that's a strong skill that I have. I like dealing with people. And that's something that I did with the Boeing company. And I think that would be, for me, I think that would be something very important to work one-on-one with the citizens of Cottonwood.
Great. Do you have any questions for us?
Actually, I do. I was reading, I think, some of the minutes in the past. And the Airport Commission, I would like to know if whoever is on the Airport Commission, do you work with other metropolitan airports or municipal airports to see what they're doing, if they have similar concerns or issues, whether it be Sedona, whether it be Prescott? Is that something that the Airport Commission would deal with?
Any insight?
Mr. Vice Mayor, council members, yes, ma'am. So I don't know of any formal program, but I know that they do get together, and I know that staff often reaches out to our other regional airports throughout the Arizona.
All right. That's all I had.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And last up is Tim Pebler.
Good evening, Vice Mayor, City Council, Mr. Corbin. It's good to see you guys. Good to see that you're all looking healthy anyway.
Thank you. So could you tell us why you wish to serve on this commission?
Well, I'm one of the two that just served a 3-year term on the Airport Commission. Quite frankly, it was quite a challenge. We had quite the tasks to resolve in the last 3 years. I'm a problem solver. I like to solve problems, and I think that we were very effective in the problems that we solved along with the FAA in the last 3 years. We dealt with a number of issues with some people don't like the sound of airplanes, and that consumed an awful lot of our time, and I think we came to a good resolution with that. But again, I want to serve, be a part of the community, be active in the community, and I'm passionate about airplanes, and I'm passionate about airports, and I want to continue working with the City of Cottonwood and the airport.
Great. So what are your specific qualifications for this commission?
Well, I'm a pilot. I'm a tenant of the Cottonwood Airport. my background was in law enforcement. And one of the things that I am ultimately concerned about is the safety of pilots and the safety of the community, and making sure that the Cottonwood Airport is as safe as it can possibly be, and that we're providing the safest pilot training that we can possibly provide to them. How do we do that? That's up for discussion. We've implemented a couple of different changes over the last 3 years with regard to traffic patterns and how people approach the airport, how people take off from the airport. So I really look at the side of it from the safety side, and making the Cottonwood Airport as safe as it can be, and protecting us also with it being as safe as it can possibly be.
So what do you hope to accomplish if you're reappointed?
Well, I hope to continue with the, I know the master plan was supposed to be done by the 1st of July. I don't know if that has been completed. We haven't had a commission meeting for a couple of months, so I didn't know if that had been completed. Complete the master plan. It's a 20-year master plan. It's very comprehensive, and looking at, especially in this time, it's already been brought up, aviation right now is not looking good, and private, small planes, private aviation is really on the downslide. Finding a mechanism to bring interested people to the Cottonwood Airport who are responsible, they're safe, and especially small business individuals who can utilize Cottonwood Airport for the benefit of the city of Cottonwood. And also reaching out to YAVAPAI College and high schools and those types of entities to look for interested young individuals who are looking to become pilots and have something available for them to be able to become pilots. Also reaching out to the community. We had one event over the last 3 years involving the AOPA, fast safety training. I'd like to bring more of those safety training events to the Cottonwood Airport. They're usually very simple to organize. It's just a matter of having the space and time to do it, and being able to get together as a group and do it. Informing the community, be better with the community about the sound that aircraft make, the limited amount of work that we can do to change what airplanes do once they leave the ground. We just don't have a whole lot of leeway on that because of the FAA regulations. But basically to improve the airport, particularly from the business side, and encourage business travelers to use the Cottonwood Airport on a frequent basis.
Thank you. Do you have any questions for us?
I don't.
Okay. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you.
And thanks to all of you, and we don't have enough spots for all of you, and if that doesn't work out, we have plenty of other boards and commissions that we'd love you to apply for. Thank you for coming tonight. With that, I will move to pay the claims and adjustments.
Second.
And so the Vice Mayor made the motion, Councilmember Henry made the second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, so Councilmember Host moved to adjourn. Debbie Wilden seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. We're adjourned. Thank you.